Welcome back, Flyers Nitty Gritty fans, to Getting Gritty with It special with my partner in crime, Vasili Gianarakos. And we have a special guest this evening, somebody we are very excited to announce, current Philadelphia Flyer, newcomer to the team, somebody we are all excited about, Owen Tippett. Owen, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, man. Really excited to have you on. And we just want to get right into it, man. We got a lot of questions for you because, obviously you're part of a big trade. There's a lot of new faces in this team. There's just a lot of unknown expectations, a lot of questions here, and we're excited. And you're a big element of that change. So, first question I have for you, you know, something we deal with here, especially after the type of season we had a lot of players who I'm not going to say stagnated, right? But a lot of situations with this team, we didn't meet expectations on so many levels. And it's not necessarily an individual thing. It's just so many players. But as a player who was drafted really high in the NHL, right? Like really prestigious, one that's had really good numbers early on, something that maybe a lot of fans don't see, on the surface level because they always see this immediate skyrocket, but that's not really the path of success. So as somebody who's kind of hit certain milestones of success and now is kind of on the brink of really taking your game to the next level, the way that I see it, how does that feel kind of going from one organization to the next and now kind of getting that fresh new opportunity?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, obviously, going into it, you never really expect or want to be traded, but sometimes it can be what's best, and just to have that fresh start and kind of, meet new teammates and get going in a different environment is what someone needs. So I'm super excited.
Did it do anything to your mojo at all? Have you brought in a new attitude from that transferation of like different teams and whatnot?
I wouldn't say really brought anything else. I was just, obviously excited for the new opportunity, and knowing some of the guys coming in, it obviously made it easier. But just looking for that fresh start was key, and I think the transition was smooth. So I'm happy with it.
That's great. And just to jump off there, Owen, just another question for you here. Do you think the Flyers are better suited for your game, just developing, opportunities for you and just giving you some more, opportunities such as like power play time, things like that, just so you can get to that next level?
Yeah, I think you can look at it both ways. I mean, obviously with the younger group, it's more of a development than anything else. So I guess, being in a younger group and being a young guy myself, it gives me the opportunity to kind of develop with them and kind of be a part of this core group going forward.
Yeah, and actually, so you speak about that core group, and one thing that we noticed, at least from the outside here, there seemed to be, obviously you played with Morgan Frost in the past, and there did seem to be some immediate chemistry, at least from our view, from the outside. I mean, you clearly had some chemistry. You brought a lot to the game, at least from what we saw, a lot of chances, opportunities, but there did seem to be something there with Frost. Did you notice that instant chemistry? Did it do anything for you? Did it do anything for one another? Has that been expressed to you at all at any point?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I knew Frosty coming in early. I mean, I played against them in junior and played with them at the World Juniors. So I think it helps when you know a certain guy and their style of play and have played with them in the past too. It obviously helps, and it lets you build off that chemistry you might have already had in the future or in the past. So obviously it was key for me to have a guy like that where I could play with him right away and feel comfortable and know kind of what style of game he was playing too, so we could feed off each other.
That's great. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense too, because obviously you knew him in the past. So probably easier for you as a newer guy coming to the team, getting to know actually somebody that you played with beforehand must be nice for you, right? Just to dial back, Owen, just your time with the Panthers. Obviously, I mean, great players, great organization. I'm sure you learned a lot. What was your most valuable takeaway from your time with the Panthers organization? Would you say, like, just specifically, you think something maybe that you took away, something you learned?
Yeah, I think anywhere you go, you can kind of build friendships and meet new guys here and there. So I think one thing I'll take away is just those friendships and good group of guys that we had there. And obviously with the style of play and then finishing high, you kind of learn what it takes to win at this level. And I think that's one another thing that you kind of learn just being on a team like that has success and finishes top of the league. You kind of learn how it how and what it takes, I guess, to be a top team in the NHL.
Yeah, for sure. And, speaking of that learning, and look, this is a hot topic for, I'm sure you guys are talking about as a team. I mean, I've been in some press conferences already, heard players bring it up and, certain things like that. But Torts has arrived, right? Torts brings a reputation. He brings a certain attitude, expectation from our end is probably different from the players, what happens in the locker room, whatnot. But, there will be some kind of changes obviously coming, from your I guess early preview. I'm sure internal talks and what you guys have talked about as players and people have played with them before. Kind of what are your expectations going into this season under Torts? Do you expect to do more of what you've currently done, or is there anything that you're kind of changing because of Torts?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I really have any expectations or I'm going to try and change anything. A lot of guys, I know there's some guys that have played from before, but I think as any new coach, you're going to, there's going to be different ways that he likes to play and different stuff like that. So I think, any way you kind of look at it with a new coach, it's going to be different no matter what. And, your teammates are going through it the same as you. So I think, obviously you see the resume he has and the success he's had in the past. So it's obviously nice for a guy like that to come in. But no, I don't think there's really any expectation or anything like that. Just kind of go in fresh and ready to go.
Yeah, that
Great,
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah, sorry,
And
Vasili, go
yeah,
ahead.
just to jump off, no, no worries. Just to jump off, in terms of like training, lots of opportunities obviously coming this season. With your training this summer, was there anything specifically like you tried to focus on, or anything that maybe like you have done differently than in the past?
I wouldn't say anything really different. I mean, maybe just getting the cliche answer of getting quicker and stronger. I mean, obviously, the way the game's going now, it's getting quicker and quicker every year. And to be at the level, you have to play strong and a heavy game. So I wouldn't think anything's really changed from in the past. Just kind of focus on that quickness and being overall stronger.
Actually, I do want to kind of tailor off that question real quick. And this is something I've seen just kind of watching you play, and something I've considered. We've struggled here on the power play quite a bit, and it's not something I saw a lot from you, at least in the Flyers uniform here while playing. And I don't think you were put in that position, but a guy of your skill set with your shot, your explosiveness down the wing, I didn't really see you used on the off wing that often. We do have a need for that here in Philly. It's something Claude Giroux here did for quite a while. Has that been expressed to you at all? Is that something you've considered yourself? Is it something you prefer? Do you prefer to play on the right side where, you're kind of more of a natural fit? Or are you looking for that moment? Because be honest with you, man, when I've seen you play, and I know Vasily can echo this, like we've seen moments where you're like, how did you not score there? Right. Like you're kind of off by a hair, and again, I think this is all part of development, but you have something there, this kind of explosiveness in the goal scoring department. Is there room for that on the left side? Is something I've personally considered.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's one of those things where the coaches and stuff like that have to make that decision. But obviously, there's comfortability on either side. I mean, there's benefits to both. Coming downhill, you can see different options, and I think, like you're saying, on that left side, it's more of a shoot first as a righty. So I think there's benefits to both, but I would say I'm comfortable playing both. And at the end of the day, it's just wherever they want to put me, if anywhere.
Nice. And just kind of final question for you here, Owen. Obviously, we're saying you're a player known for your great shot. I mean, we've seen it, lots of velocity and things like that. I always wonder. I'm a bit of a gearhead, somebody who's played the game kind of in the past year. Like when you made the jump from junior to the AHL, NHL level, was there any thoughts of like ever changing, like flexing your stick, curving your stick, or kind of switching around, like let's say brand of stick you're using, stuff like that, or have you kind of always kept it simple and just gone with what you've known in the past and has been successful for you?
Yeah, I would say each year as you kind of are put in different situations, you can see, maybe it doesn't feel right here, or you want to go stiffer in the blade or whatever it is. But I think there's always going to be stuff with everything and the way gear is moving now with the technology. There's always going to be stuff you're going to want to try and try and tweak. So I would say, in the summer, I try and maybe not overdo it, but maybe try a couple new things. And then that way, when the season comes around, you're not really tweaking too much throughout the year and you're pretty set on your pattern.
Yeah, it makes sense, and you're a bit more comfortable and stuff like that. Also, just follow up here. What kind of stick are you using right now?
I'm in Warrior.
Oh, nice. Great piece.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to sneak one last question in here. We'll end on this, and I want to ask this specific question because we actually just did a full podcast episode about this. It's something we talk a lot about on the podcast, just leadership in general. I don't think that means the C or the A's, right? We're just talking about leadership in general. As a newcomer onto the team, with the changing culture, with a new coach, there's going to be identifying leaders. A lot of that is done naturally, I find. It's not something that people point and go, that's your leader. It's something that kind of happens naturally. You kind of notice the way who's the shield of the group, who steps up, who does those things in the moment. Are there people in this locker room that maybe you feel comfortable kind of calling out in a good way, that already have stuck out to you, where you kind of arrived here and you're like, man, that guy's got the mojo. Maybe he was even injured at the time, but that person brings a kind of energy that I think will be something that is infectious to you personally.
Yeah, I think, any locker room you go into, you can kind of look around and see different guys bringing different types of leadership. And I found the same when I came into Philly. There was different guys bringing different leadership aspects to the table, and there's obviously, it usually leans on the veterans more just because they've been around and they know kind of what works and what doesn't in the locker room. But any kind of guy that's going to show leadership is going to probably, it's going to go a long way within the team. And I think there's different ways you can lead and kind of portray your leadership throughout and stuff like that. So I think there's many guys, like you said, whether it's a letter or not, that are going to bring different kind of leadership.
Well said. Well said. All right. I think we're good. Vasili, thank you for obviously helping. And Owen, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're super excited about the season, regardless of whatever public media. I promise you, fans are excited about this season. We have people watching even while there's nothing going on. So we're super excited. And again, thank you so much. Vasili, you want to say anything before we end?
No, just thank you to Owen, and thanks for taking the time to come on with us. We appreciate it, and good luck this season. We're sure you're gonna kill it and do amazing, man.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And remember, always stay gritty.